Hello friends, welcome. Today we are going to see AWS Backup service for RDS databases. We have seen in the past like how backup service can be used for EC2 instances, for S3, and today we are going to extend that knowledge with RDS databases. How often we get dropped into this situation? Mainly if you are working from infrastructure standpoint, like especially for database administrator, right? You have seen this many times. Like application data is deleted by mistake. Critical table got dropped unintentionally. Need test environment on priority for new feature test. These are very common scenarios where you need to rely on your backup. And you often have seen the situation where we say we don't have backup and business won't like it much because that is very awkward situation to be in. So like keeping backup up to date is a critical administrative work or administrative task, and how to do it in AWS cloud is very important to know, right, when you are supporting the workload there.
So in this tutorial, we'll simulate a situation where table is dropped and now we want to get the data back, right? And we'll be using few services like RDS, EC2, and AWS Backup. So this is the infrastructure what we need. One is VPC. We'll create one VPC and I already provisioned it, and like this is what it will contain, right? It will have 4 subnet, 2 private, 2 public, then route table attached to each of those subnets, and internet gateway. We don't need that much, but I created it because at least we need 2 subnets for creating a subnet group when we are launching RDS. So we are going to use 2 AZs, but let me explain you the single AZ to understand the architecture better. So we have VPC, we have one public subnet and private subnet. Inside public subnet, we will create one EC2 instance which will be working as a client, and then in private subnet, we will have Amazon RDS, which will be our database instance. And then we'll see how we can connect to database from EC2 instance. I'll show you the steps for doing that, and EC2 will work as a client for us. Then we are going to use AWS Backup service to take the backup of database and restore it when needed. So let's jump into the management console and see it ourselves.
Now let me just create RDS database. So I am into RDS database console, RDS. So here you can choose from this database engines. So I'll just choose PostgreSQL. You can choose anything, and it's almost similar type of steps what you need to take. But I'm just going to take a free tier. Then yeah, everything else you just keep it as it. Just give some password. We'll use this password to connect to our RDS database instance. Just make sure you remember this storage auto scaling, right? And then I'll choose this particular VPC which I create, project VPC, and create new subnet group. I'll just keep it as it is, then choose existing VPC security group. So here I can choose or create one, but let me create one. I'll just show you that, right? So RDS underscore security group, I'm just creating like this. And I don't mind where it is putting which AZ this instance will be created. I just turn off everything. We don't need for this particular tutorial, right? Let's keep it simple. Okay, so database creation is in progress. It will take few minutes at least. So by the time we will create EC2 instance, right? That is another thing we showed in the architecture, and that is from a client perspective, like instance. So I'll just EC2 project demo, name can be anything. Then I'll just keep it T2 micro. I'll just take one key pair. Networking, let's put it in, right? I want public IP for it. Create security group. I want to create one security group, EC2 security group. Let's give this name. Security group, this SSH to the world, we are okay with that, and that is pretty much it, right? So let's launch instance. Okay, so EC2 instance is launched, so it will get created. It's pending, so let's wait for this. And anyway, RDS, I'm expecting it take few more minutes. So what I'll do is I'll just pause this video and come back when we have RDS available for us to use. So let me pause it for the moment. Okay, so we can see the RDS database is ready for us. It's available for us to use, and even EC2 instance is there and it's running state. Okay, so we have both the components what we need. One is a client, which is a EC2 instance, and other is RDS database, which is Postgresql, right? So let's connect to EC2 instance first. Okay, so now we have connected to instance, EC2 instance. Just sudo update -y. So this is just installing basic packages what is needed. It is pretty fast. I don't expect it to take more than few seconds. Okay, so it's done, and then next we should install is PostgreSQL client. Install PostgreSQL. Sorry, yeah. Okay, that's great. So we have PL/SQL client available for us to connect to the database instance. But one important thing you should take care is like security group for this RDS, right, should accept traffic from this EC2 instance. So for that, let's go to the security groups in EC2 security groups, and RDS security group, it should accept traffic from EC2 instance. So what we can do is we can just add PostgreSQL port, which is 5432, coming from security group of the EC2. You can give EC2 IP address range or exact IP, but it is easier to add the security group for EC2 instance. Security group for EC2 instance. Save rule, and let's try connecting now. So what we need is like here, if you see this, right, I have one file put in here, which is workfile.txt. So this is, I just put the commands like for connectivity. So if you see, we need hostname. So where this hostname will come from is from connectivity and security tab, which is this hostname, right? So this is exactly same what we have it here, right? And then port, username and password. Username you can like you will remember when you created the instance itself, but otherwise you can just go here and just cross verify. So this is the username I'm using. So okay, so let me just, and these are the commands we will be using for this particular tutorial. So I just for like quick access, right, I put it here on the server itself. Okay, so copy, just paste it, and then give the password, and that's it. So you are on this PostgreSQL, so you are able to successfully connect to the instance. And only couple of things, that's port which I just showed, right, that should be open for accepting traffic for our client. So let's create this particular table created. Then let me put some records there so that we can see it ourselves, right, when we we are going to simulate where we lost our table and then now what to do, right? So for that we need this particular data. So I see that the I was not there. Okay, let me just put the correct info. Okay, so now let's see what data we can see it here, right? Students is a table. Yeah, so we can see this two records there. So now let's go to our AWS backup service. That is the main intent of this tutorial, right? So let's hop onto AWS backup service and take backup of this database. So I'll just go to dashboard. We can create on-demand backup. So what service you want to use? These are the services which are supported so far. So let's choose RDS. We have only one instance. create backup now, retention period. We don't want to change anything here. Default role, let it use default role. That's it, right? If you want, you can add tag, but that is not mandatory. So let me just create on-demand backup. And here we are using default backup vault. We can create backup vault. Backup vault is a place where you can see all the backups for this particular resources which you are managing through AWS Backup through this vault. So I'll just keep it very simple just to show you like how these things work, right? So this backup is in progress. So yeah, so this will take a bit of time. So let it take it, and then meantime, right, I'll just explain. This is an on-demand backup, or this is a one-time backup, right? But you can schedule it automatically through backup plan. So if I go to backup plan, you can schedule it how frequently you want and all that, right? Like you can start it with a template, or you build your new backup plan. So I'll not create a backup plan. I just want to show you. So you can create backup plan. You can create backup rule where you will just say that, okay, just take the daily backup, or take backup every 12 hours, or weekly, monthly. You can even customize through cron tab if you are used to use cron in the past, right? Even we have options doing that. And then the most important thing for RDS database I want to show you is enable continuous backup for point in time recovery. So this is very important. I'm sure like if you are working in real time environment for backup, we want to have point in time recovery feasibility, right? For example, if application team drop the table at 10 a.m. EST, so by just before 10 a.m., right, you want to see the data. So we can just go with 10 a.m. as our point in time recovery. So for that thing to happen, you should have this continuous backups happening. So you can just enable this, and that's how it will just make sure that you have that point in time recovery capability when you need that. For now, we are just simulating it. So we took the backup. Now we'll drop the table and restore from that particular backup. So we know that data will be there. Take away from this, right? You can enable continuous backup for point in time recovery, and this facility is there for RDS and S3 resources. And now let's see what is happening with our backups. So here what you can do is you can go into jobs, and you can see it here, right? You can see that the backup is still in progress. Yeah, so I know like it takes bit of time, so let it happen. I'll pause this video and come back when we have this backup available. So backup is completed. You can see the status completed. So we have a good backup of this database. So let's go to EC2 instance and drop this table. Drop table. This is a simulation. I can't be so relaxed while dropping table. Just kidding. Students. Okay, so table is dropped. Like select start from students. I don't see any records. So let's see, like now this was a situation like we somebody got this table dropped unintentionally, and now they come back to us like we want to restore the data back because we are missing very important or critical table. So how you can help us? And good thing is we know we have backup. So this AWS backup service is coming to our rescue. We know that we have good backup, and let's see how to restore it. So database vault, then default. Here is the backup we are putting. So this is the backup, right? So where I went is I went to backup vault. So this is usual like for the single backup we know where it is, but usually it is the best practice like you go get into your backup vault, and there you can see all the backups, all the recovery points to say that, right? So I can see that one recovery point is there which was taken today, and let's see what action we can do. We can do restore, right? And when restore it, if you have seen the EC2 or S3 tutorial in the past, right, you know that it knows like which backup was that. You can see that it's already pre-populated few things like DB engine and all that, so it knows like what restore we are talking about. So here I'll just take T3 micro, same thing, like you can choose. So here is another thing, right? You can even choose your DB instance class if you want to bump it up, like to 4 CPU, 2 or 4 GB RAM. You can even do that. That is possible during restores. So even like you can create a multi-AZ cluster, whatever, right? You have a good backup, you can do whatever you want with that. You can create a multi-AZ DB cluster, or you can create a standby install using this. I don't want to create a standby. And yeah, DB identifier, let me just give some name, my DB instance. Okay, right? Then networking, I want to keep it in my project VPC. Subnet group is default. I don't want to have public access. So this is yes or no, right? So if I don't remember I explained you when we create a RDS, but even while creating RDS, that was the option. If you say yes, right, then EC2 instance even outside of your VPC will be able to connect to the particular instance or database instance. So if you say public accessibility to yes, but no, what happens is DB instance will not have public IP address assigned, so EC2 instance or devices outside of VPC will not able to connect. So this is what it is, like we don't have a like I explained you, we are keeping it in private subnet, right? What I mean by that is this, like we don't have a option of having public IP when you when you choose no. But I want to do no, because we know like our VPC is same where EC2 instance is residing. So that's it, like port is we'll just keep default, and everything else I'll just keep default. This parameter group, option group, there is like a little different in RDS compared to how you do it in on-prem. But like I have done the tutorial in the past, so you can refer that. But there's good things to know, like what is parameter group, what is options and all that. So I'll just keep it as is everything, and just create say restore backup, right? So restore is in progress. Yeah, again, like this is like something which takes time. This is like at least few minutes, right? So let me just pause for a moment, and we'll come back. And when we are back, right, we'll see the new instance got created with this data. We'll connect to that instance and see whether our data is available, right? So let's pause it for a moment, and we'll come back. So restore is completed successfully. You can see it here in status, right? In restore jobs. So let's see like what we see it in RDS dashboard. So if I go into RDS dashboard, I can see that one new instance with my DB instance as a DB identifier is provisioned for us, and we are hoping it has all the data what we needed. Yeah, so let's connect to this instance and see it ourselves whether our data is there or not. So I'll just go into this DB instance, and what all we need for connection is this, right? This is the endpoint for this particular database. One thing what I noticed is like when it comes with restored instance, right, it goes back to default security group, and we want it RDS underscore SG, because there we added one rule, inbound rule, where it accepts traffic from a security group of EC2 instance. So let's modify this and get that security. I don't know whether we get that option to select security group when we are restoring it, but yeah, you can when you are trying, right, just see whether we get that option, or otherwise I'll just change it from here. If you get that option, please put that in comments, so I even get to know about that. But I haven't seen that so far. So okay, so network is okay. The security group, I just don't want default one, I want RDS SG, right? So okay, let's have everything as is, and we'll just modify DB instance. Okay, so this is done. So if I go into this, I can see that it's like adding it and removing the earlier one. So just give it a minute or so, and we should be good. Yeah, it says available, otherwise it should show modifying. Okay, great. So we can see that RDS SG is associated with this instance, RDS instance, so we should be good. So let's see what we need. So I already showed you what we need, right? We just need the DB host. Everything else we already have used it some time back. So let's select this and try to connect. Okay, great. So we are into Postgresql, our new database instance. So let's see whether we get our data back. Yeah, that's it. So we got our data back, right? So that is how it is. Like you are able to restore the data or table which was dropped earlier. So you have your data. It created a new instance. If you want, like you can use native tools to export the data and keep it in whatever database you want. Or if this helps you, just you have data in this database instance, you can just give the connectivity of to this, and we should be good to go. Yeah, so that's it. I just want to show you how AWS Backup works with RDS instances, and I hope you learned something new here. And whatever your take on this tutorial, right? Please let me know. You can put that in comment section, so I know like this is tutorials are helping you or appreciating the content, and gives me more reasons to build something more on this very topics. Yeah, thank you. And now before we go, right, just make sure you clean up this lab. I usually show like when I clean it up. So let me just do that. Right, so delete. I don't want any final backup. I don't want to retain backups. I acknowledge I'm good with that. And this I'll just delete. Okay, same thing I'll just do with the other instance. Delete. I don't want final snapshot, no retention. I'm okay with that. I accept the risk. Delete me and delete. Right, and then only one thing we want to do now is go to EC2 and just terminate that. Even this we don't want. Terminate the instance. Terminated. You can clean up security groups and VPC, but that really doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you anything. And this backup, even like if you want, you can just go ahead and clean up the backup, so you don't use smallest of the storage for the backup as well. So you can just delete the restore point, and we are good. Okay, it's deleting. Yeah, that's it from this tutorial. I hope you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new today. If so, please like this video, share, leave your comment so that I know this content is helping you. Don't forget to subscribe, and that's now. Okay, see you again with yet another exciting tutorial about AWS. Keep learning, keep sharing what you learn, and thanks for watching.